The atmosphere across the United States has been extremely active over the past several days, and unfortunately the pattern that produced those storms is not finished yet. A powerful storm system recently moved from the southern plains all the way toward the Great Lakes, leaving behind a trail of severe weather reports, tornado damage, and widespread power outages across multiple states. Over the course of several days, meteorologists received more than 20 tornado reports, along with countless reports of damaging wind and large hail. At one point, more than 100,000 homes and businesses were without electricity as the storms swept through communities from the plains to the Midwest. Some of the most significant damage occurred in parts of Oklahoma and southern Michigan, where multiple tornadoes were confirmed. One of the strongest tornadoes touched down near Union City, Michigan. Survey teams later determined that it reached EF3 intensity with wind speeds exceeding 150 miles per hour. The tornado carved a destructive path through areas near Union Lake, destroying homes, damaging buildings, and leaving a community dealing with major recovery efforts. Tragically, several lives were lost during this severe weather event and dozens of people were injured. Early March tornado outbreaks like this are not unheard of, but events of this scale are still relatively rare, and they serve as a reminder that severe weather season can begin much earlier than many people expect. While communities continue to recover from the recent storms, meteorologists are already turning their attention to the next developing system. The atmosphere across the central United States remains highly unstable, and the ingredients that fuel severe weather are beginning to come together once again. Forecast models indicate that another powerful storm system will move into the Central Plains and Midwest early this week, potentially triggering a new round of severe thunderstorms capable of producing damaging winds, very large hail, and tornadoes. Forecast guidance from multiple models suggests that the most dangerous period may arrive during the afternoon and evening hours as a strong low-pressure system organizes across the plains. Ahead of that system, warm and humid air will surge northward from the Gulf of Mexico. At the same time, powerful winds several thousand feet above the ground will move in from the west. When warm, moist air at the surface collides with strong winds aloft, the atmosphere becomes primed for organized severe thunderstorms. One of the key indicators meteorologists monitor when evaluating severe weather potential is something called CAPE, which stands for Convective Available Potential Energy. In simple terms, CAPE represents the amount of energy available for thunderstorms to grow and intensify. Current forecast models are showing extremely high CAPE values across portions of the Midwest and Central Plains. In some areas, those values could exceed 3,000 joules per kilogram, which is more typical of late spring rather than early March. If those forecasts verify, thunderstorms that develop in this environment could become very intense very quickly. The setup may initially favor discrete supercells, which are rotating thunderstorms capable of producing large hail, powerful wind gusts, and potentially strong tornadoes. As the evening progresses, those individual storms may begin to merge into a larger organized line of thunderstorms known as a squall line. When that happens, the primary threat often transitions toward widespread damaging winds across a large region. Several major population centers lie within the broader risk area. Cities from the southern plains through the Midwest may see multiple rounds of severe storms as the system moves eastward. Areas including Dallas, Oklahoma City, St. Louis, Indianapolis, and Chicago are all within the region that could experience strong thunderstorms during this event. While it is far too early to pinpoint exactly which communities will experience the worst conditions, the overall environment suggests that a large area of the country could be impacted. Meteorologists are also paying close attention to the position of the warm front associated with this system. The warm front separates cooler air to the north from the warm and humid air to the south. In many severe weather outbreaks, the zone near this boundary becomes a focal point for tornado development because wind shear tends to be strongest there. Current projections place this boundary somewhere across parts of Illinois, Iowa, and Indiana, although its exact location will likely shift as the forecast is refined. Another factor that could play a major role in the development of severe storms is the presence of a strong atmospheric cap. A cap is a layer of warm air several thousand feet above the ground that temporarily suppresses thunderstorm development. When a cap is present, heat and moisture can build underneath it throughout the day. Once the cap finally breaks, storms can erupt explosively and rapidly become severe. If this scenario unfolds as expected, the late afternoon and evening hours could see rapid storm development across portions of the central United States. As nighttime approaches, the threat may evolve into a large squall line capable of producing damaging straight-line winds over a broad region. These types of storm systems can travel hundreds of miles while maintaining strong wind gusts that can knock down trees, damage structures, and cause widespread power outages. Embedded within that line, brief tornadoes may also develop, especially in areas where wind shear is strongest. Even after the first round of storms moves through, the overall pattern will remain active. The cold front trailing behind the storm system will continue pushing eastward, bringing another period of severe weather risk to the Mississippi Valley, the Ohio Valley, and parts of the Southeast. While the tornado threat may be somewhat lower in these regions compared to the Plains and Midwest, damaging winds and large hail will remain possible. The evolution of the storms later in the week will depend heavily on how the atmosphere recovers after the first round of thunderstorms. Cloud cover and rainfall from earlier storms can influence how much instability develops the following day. However, forecast models still indicate that strong wind shear will remain in place, which means additional severe storms cannot be ruled out as the system progresses eastward. Interestingly, the same storm system responsible for the severe weather may also bring winter conditions to areas farther north. Cold air wrapping around the backside of the system could allow snow to develop across portions of the upper Midwest and parts of Canada. Some forecast models even suggest that a swath of accumulating snow could stretch from Minnesota into parts of Ontario and Quebec before the system moves into the northeastern United States. This dramatic contrast between warm air to the south and cold air to the north is one of the primary reasons storms can become so intense during the transition from winter to spring. When large temperature differences exist across relatively short distances, the atmosphere becomes more energetic and capable of producing powerful weather systems. Behind the storm system, a strong cold front will sweep across the eastern United States, bringing a noticeable drop in temperatures. Areas that recently experienced unusually warm weather could soon find themselves dealing with temperatures well below seasonal averages. In some places, readings may fall 20 to 30 degrees below normal as colder air settles in across the region. These sharp temperature swings are a hallmark of early spring weather patterns in North America. Warm air surging northward from the Gulf of Mexico collides with lingering cold air from Canada, creating the perfect environment for powerful storm systems to develop. As the season progresses, similar setups may continue to occur, which is why the risk of severe weather typically increases through March, April, and May. For now, the most important thing for people across the potential impact areas is to stay informed and be prepared. Severe weather forecasts will continue to evolve over the coming days as meteorologists analyze new data and refine their predictions. Anyone living in regions that could experience strong storms should make sure they have multiple ways to receive weather warnings, especially during nighttime hours when dangerous storms can arrive while people are sleeping. Despite the concerning forecast, it is important to remember that severe weather impacts are often very localized. Even during major outbreaks, many communities within the broader risk area may experience little more than heavy rain and gusty winds. The goal of early forecasts like this is simply to raise awareness and ensure that people have time to prepare if conditions begin to deteriorate. As we move deeper into spring, the atmosphere will likely remain active, and additional storm systems are expected to develop across the United States in the coming weeks. Meteorologists will continue monitoring these patterns closely and providing updates as new information becomes available. For now, attention remains focused on the developing system that could bring another round of dangerous weather to parts of the country in the near future.